Hello and welcome to Fox Sports Lab AFL in this great week for Tasmanian football and football in general. I'm Ben Dixon, your host. With me, the greatest goal kicker of all time. He told me to say that. Jason Dunstall and the stats guru, Paton. Welcome, gentlemen.
Still recovering from Adelaide getting beaten last week. I thought I'd dragged one back and I got rolled at the death knell.
You did everything right until Al texted through and said, "You're home, Chief," and then they just fell over. Let's touch on Tassie quickly. Paton, I'm coming to you because I played in Tasmania many a time. Give us the lowdown on what teams love Tasmania.
Yeah, I thought I'd just have a quick look, given that everyone presumably is going to be going down there to play some games from around 2028. And the Hawks, we know, have played there the most, 79 times, and they've got a 71% winning record, which is pretty good. So they'd be backing themselves in to obviously enjoy the trip. There's only three other teams that have a positive win-loss record in Tasmania: Geelong, Sydney and North. Who just get over the line. And then there's heaps of teams that really don't go well at all down there. Carlton's never won a game, Richmond 0-3, Gold Coast 0-7, and Collingwood has never played a home and away game in Tasmania. So
well if they go there, they'll Houdini it once again, no doubt. All right, Chief, I'm going to talk Tigers because one win, a draw after 7 rounds is absolutely disgraceful.
Yep.
We all had them in the 8 or just out of the 8, but are you finding room in the bottom 4 for the Tigers this year?
I don't know about bottom 4, but they're done. They are done, the Tigers. There's no doubt about it. You can't salvage your season from here. They're going like bastards. Their ball movement is rubbish. They can't score. Remember how they used to be so good at turning it over and then going bang, they'd just flood forward, they'd run, they'd score with, at ease when they wanted to. Not now. The way they're moving the ball inside 50's been terrible. They're missing Lynch. I mean, he's obviously a huge part of the structure and straightens them up going forward. I think Nankervis has been a big loss as well, but no, they got some serious problems the way they're moving the ball forward, Al.
And I'm going to quickly jump in because Dimmer after the game in his press conference goes, "I don't have the answers." Al, have you got the answers?
Well, I think I wish I did as a Richmond supporter. It's pretty hard to watch at the moment, but what's really killing them, as you mentioned, is just their ball use and their basic skills. I mean, they were the highest scoring team last year. This year they're the 3rd worst, and their kicking for goal accuracy is the 3rd worst in the comp. So when they get chances, they're not taking them. But it's happening all over the field. They've got the 18th kicking efficiency in the league, and they're number 1 for clangers. So it's really hurting you when you can't convert when you get your opportunities. And then at the other end of the ground, if we name names, their worst clanger offenders this year: Marlon Pickett, Tim Taranto, at least he gets plenty of the ball. Shea Bolton, you don't mind that if he's trying something. But then you've got Noah Bolter and Liam Baker, and these are the guys who are supposed to be setting you up, taking the sort of safer option coming out of the back line. If you're kicking it straight to the opposition, you got no chance.
It's funny, isn't it? We all got bullish when they recruited Taranto and Hopper. We thought, they're going to go somewhere, Richmond. But it's the flow-on effect of picking those two. All of a sudden, Bolton's not spending as much time in the middle, and he's getting the same sort of numbers, but he's not having the same impact, if that makes sense. And Dustin Martin, you don't have the luxury of swinging him into the midfield to get him involved in the game when you need to, because these other two guys, they're probably the best players for Richmond this year. So if I said to you, who's had a great year for Richmond outside of Taranto and Hopper?
Couldn't tell you.
The names don't spring to mind, so that tells you how ordinary a season they're having.
But in Timmy Taranto and Jacob Hopper, Dimmy would say, "Come in, we're in the window, we're still going to contend." Where do they find themselves now, Al?
Right now, they've got their fingers on the windowsill and someone's just slammed the window on the deco.
Fair enough.
Sorry, Al, didn't mean to jump in. I just thought I'd...
Well, they're there for 7 years, so I think Richmond sees them as part of the sort of transition when they phase out some of these older guys and bring in some of the youth, and hopefully those guys will be around for when that next wave comes through. But yeah, it might be a couple of tough years before that happens.
Well, you said who jumped out after Shea Bolton and the like. Well, Trent Cotchin's a good discussion point because he's 5 from 300. Now, it's a matter of, you said they're gone, they're cooked, they've shut the window, it's slammed on the fingers. Do you get him to 300 and then put him away and say, righto, is that Dimmer's call or is that Trent's call? You've been in this position. You threw me over the line for 200.
No, well, they're both such great leaders and have made brilliant contributions to the club, so they'll get him to 300. There's no problems there. And then I think Dimmer and Koch will probably sit down and work out, well, am I having an impact? What's best for the club? What role do you want me to play? They'll work it out, but he'll be a deserved 300-game player at that.
Is he playing his role?
Well, he's kicked 1 goal, 1. They're sort of trying to use him as a half forward. I don't know if that's quite working, but yeah, I think, for everything that he's done for the club, he deserves to get to 300. At the moment, that if he plays every game from here, that'll be against Fremantle in Perth. So maybe they'll rest him for one along the way to get him that at the G, and then I think they'd probably maybe see where the Tigers are at and whether it's worth going from there.
That was Al speak for no.
Yeah. Just quickly, when do you move a coach on?
When he's not getting the message through to the players. Again, I think Dimmer will sit. If they go no good for the rest of this year, he'll sit down at the end of the year, and I think they'll have that discussion.
All right, that's our deep dive on the Tigers, who are struggling to stay relevant in 2023.
You know it's a better betting app when you've got stats and insights for every major game and race. Plus expert opinions from the best minds in the game, all in the palm of your hand. That's better. Your chances are you're about to lose.